guys? VTV here. So real quick, we're gonna take a look at some of the extras that the game has, and we're gonna take a look at some of these. So we already looked at the recap video in the first episode of the walkthrough, so we're gonna look at these two, and then after we look at them, we're gonna talk about it. Alright, without further ado, I'm going to put this up, and then we're going to discuss it after. See what we can come up with.
How did we get here?
Technology is advancing at a phenomenal rate. Artificial eyes to cybernetic limbs.
The promise of a better future.
We now have the choice to free ourselves from any kind of limitation.
Strength, power, speed. Now I focus on what really matters.
Have these augmentations really been
There are
tested?
people who say that what is happening is unnatural, that we're playing God. But people were scared of electricity. And where would the world be without
What
that?
happens if this technology falls into the wrong hands?
Diseases or viruses that could wipe out the human race.
Scenes of terror are being witnessed worldwide.
What kind of madness has gripped the mechanically augmented people? 9 million deaths confirmed and counting.
This is an attack on humanity and the universal values that we share.
These people were hacked. They had no control.
What is the appropriate response? And can we actually protect ourselves from this happening again?
I have no idea what happened. I would never...
You tried to kill me.
At what point will governments consider the idea of segregation for all our sakes?
We can be politically correct, or we can be foolish, but it's gonna get worse and worse.
The Czech Republic adds its voice to a growing list of countries calling for the relocation of its augmented citizens.
No
Reports
choice.
of severe shortages of the drug neurophazine required to inhibit the rejection of augmentations.
And we will fight for our God-given rights to defend our will.
In a sign of growing anti-augmentation sentiment, thousands
It doesn't matter how many idiots you get out there on the street. We will not relinquish our limbs. Do you understand?
What's happening on this planet is a mass fear-mongering, and the mainstream media pushing this narrative.
The officer suffered severe facial
Incident after incident after
You need to
incident.
be afraid, because they are coming for you.
We will not be made slaves to corporations. We will rise up.
To them, we are the enemy.
Have you seen what your kind are doing?
My kind? You sound just like them.
We come to a tipping point.
Can't live like this anymore.
This violence is completely out of control.
The world is being paved for this corporate militants.
What do they have planned for us?
Why are they building concentration camps? What's going on out there?
Reports of multiple fatalities. There's only one way to deal with these bloodthirsty fanatics.
A lot of people died. Now you want to take away our freedom? You will pay for it in blood.
Multiple detonations looks like car
The
bombs.
Augmented Rights Coalition denies responsibility.
The Segregation Act has been passed into law, effective immediately.
Augmented persons are being asked to move to safe and secure segregated districts.
I don't want them to take me.
We are still your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, who love us. We lost everything. Our dreams, our innocence. Where are you taking her? Where are you taking her? Our humanity.
Man, that's a pretty beast trailer right there. I mean, I gotta say, this fucking game is awesome. It's trying to tackle subjects that some people don't really want to acknowledge in the world. You know, like, if you stop and see what's actually happening in our world today, what's happened in our world throughout history, we can see moments like this spread throughout our history and in our current day. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't care too much to find out what's happening out there in the world. And I'm not just talking about watching the news. You know, there's different ways to inform yourself as to what is happening and why it's happening and what can be done about it. You have the news, you have the internet, you have newspapers, you have articles you could read online. There's so many things that people can do to acknowledge what's happening in the world. And I think that's one of the problems out there in the world, is the fact that we don't really care. You know, we just let these things happen. We allow, you know, the world to just pass us by, and I don't agree with that. You know, I think most people should just at least educate themselves about what's happening out there in the world. We're so fixated and focused on our everyday lives and the small things like, hey man, when's the next movie coming out, and so on, and we get so caught up with our own lives and our own ambitions that we forget that there's an entire world out there, and we should pay attention to it. Because if we ignore it, it's just something that we don't know, we don't understand, we don't educate ourselves, and I feel like that's gonna be more harmful for all of us in the end. Because if we don't know what's happening, we don't acknowledge it, we can become a part of that problem without knowing. You know, if you don't know, if you didn't know that there are like, okay, so an example is, so if we didn't know that the gas used for vehicles, when it burns, it's bad for the atmosphere, if we didn't know that that form of fuel can have a negative impact on our world, then we wouldn't make educated decisions to finding new forms of fuel, you know, to help the planet, to help the future generations. Every decision we make has an impact on the world. However minimal, it has an impact. If you decide you didn't want to go somewhere, I don't know, travel somewhere today, then you probably would have not met somebody who would have changed your mind to do something else, and so on. It's, you know, the chaos theory, the butterfly effect. Life is just full of cause and effect, and I truly appreciate a game like this because it's bringing forth problems and things that we have in our society. We still have segregation. You know, people think we don't. Like, I don't know how people believe that we don't. We do. There's still segregation in this world. There's more human trafficking today than any other time in history. People don't know that. People don't know that we have more slavery today, in today's world, in 2016, than any other time in history. You know, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people are not aware of these things. I am aware of them because of my job, the things I've learned. And I will say I would have not known the things that I know about the world if I would have never, you know, joined the military and experienced the life I've experienced. And I'm grateful to the military, to my life experience for that. But that's why I'm trying to make some of these videos. I'm not just playing this game just to play it, because a lot of people think video games are just mindless, you know, moments where you just sit down and waste your life away. And it can be that. It truly can just be, you know, a waste of time, or it can be an experience. It can make you think, like this game, like this moment, like right now. You know, when I play for you guys, for the channel, I also play is to learn, to understand. Like, I don't just sit down and waste my time, and I think most people should do that, you know. Take it all as a learning experience. And I gotta say, you know, it just makes you think, like, what can we do as a society to improve, to better ourselves? And there is no denying that moving away from things like segregation, racism, moving away from all these negative aspects of life, moving away from this division that's created in the world, improves our overall way of life. That's the truth. Look at history. Look how much we've accomplished once we moved away from such things as women not having rights. Now women have rights, and you got to think about it, like something as simple as allowing women to, you know, go out there and experience life and do their own thing. Kind of, it helps our society as a whole. It helps humanity as a whole. It helps us move forward, because every single person, women or men, they will have different ideas. They will have different dreams, different drives. Everyone brings something new to the table. And if you deny people from flourishing, then you deny humanity as a whole from moving forward. Alright, so that's gonna be it for that discussion, for that trailer. And now we're going to take a look at this next one. Alright.
We are human beings. Each and every one of us. This must not go on. This injustice must end.
An increase in the number of terrorist attacks highlights the danger posed by augmented citizens.
I once thought I could save the world. Now look at it.
Help me!
Sometimes, you just have to let go and embrace what you've become. They've worked from the shadows for years, shaping the future, manipulating lives, controlling information. Innocents have died as they play their game.
We will not sit idly by and allow our rights to be eroded out of fear and ignorance any longer. We will not be herded into ghettos and treated as outcasts. We will stop at nothing.
The world is different now. The old rules no longer apply. So much pain. So many lies. Their darkness must end.
This should be your fight as well, brother. The promise of a golden age is over.
I won't let it happen again.
Now that one is just badass. I mean, you know, this character, Adam Jensen, you could tell that he's like a, how do I say this? He's like an evolving character in a world where everything is gray, nothing is black and white. Their organizations are manipulating things, people with power and money, but are they necessarily evil per se? You can't really say that, because so the best villain is the one that believes that they're doing something right, and for the most part some villains are doing something right for some people, not for everybody. But one man's glory is another man's death or destruction. I'll give you guys an example. So everybody, whenever you hear about criminal organizations, drug trafficking organizations, you think about the death and destruction that they bring, which is undeniable. And that's the truth. But people never look at the side of the story where a lot of these people do these things out of necessity. You have entire cities, you know, in South Central America, that they're just fighting to survive. That's it. They're participating in these illegal acts because they're just trying to survive. They're trying to make ends meet. They're trying to feed their families. And I think we should not try to dehumanize people. We should try to understand why they do what they do. Just, you know, even looking at the things that have happened in the United States, even looking at the Middle East, even looking at all these things, we have to try to understand why people do what they do, as evil as it may seem. And a lot of those acts, a lot of the things seem very evil, but if we can understand why they do it, then we can put a stop to this in the future. We can try to prevent the creation of these organizations and all these bad things that cause so much death and destruction in the world. You know, and that's how life is. Life is not black and white. There's a lot of gray in between. There is a lot of gray. And the more educated we become, the more we know, the better we can assess the problem and the more we can do for it. You know, and that's why this is an example as to why video games are not a waste of time. They bring things to mind. You know, you have the augmented people attacking society as retaliation because of how they've been treated. But they're considered terrorists in that world. However, there's a reason why they've retaliated the way they're retaliating. And that's not justifying what they're doing. That's why in the trailer you see Adam Jensen, he's fighting against both sides. He's fighting the augmented people because it's wrong how they're retaliating. They're killing innocent people. And then he's also fighting the government and the police force that are mistreating the augmented people because they're taking advantage of, yet again, the innocent. So he is in the middle. Adam Jensen stands is in the middle, where he's trying to protect the innocent who are caught in this war between two factions. You know, the augmented people fighting for their rights, and on the other hand you have the police force and the government fighting against the augmented people because of what happened 2-3 years prior to this game, in the last game, Human Revolution. where all the augmented people went crazy and killed a bunch of people. So this game has a ton of story. We're going to dive deep into the story. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about real life. We're going to make sense of everything and understand Adam Jensen, where he stands, and the struggles that he has to endure through his experience. Alright guys, if you guys like the video, please let me know what you like about it, what you don't like, if you agree, disagree. At the end of the day, everything I say is just my opinion. It's not factual. I will bring in facts, which I've experienced in my life, to formulate a better opinion and a more educated opinion, so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. But I want to know what you guys think. You know, what you guys think about our society, about, you know, the unfortunate events some people have to go through in life, and let's just build a community where we can discuss things that we normally wouldn't, you know. And this is the perfect game to do that with, because it brings just a lot of things to mind. So yeah, just leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think, what you like, don't like, what you want to see, what you want to talk about. Let's start some discussions. If you guys like the video, hit the like button. It helps me a ton. I'm really trying to build this channel. I'm trying to bring something new to YouTube. Something, I mean, everything's probably been done out there, but you know, we have from working our routines and podcasts talking about life and experiences, all kinds of things that I have planned for this channel. There's a ton. It's not gonna just be video games. But yeah, just hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and if you guys really like what I'm putting out and you want to see more, you want to be notified as to what's gonna come up next in the channel, subscribe. That's gonna be the best way to keep track of what's going on with the channel. Alright guys, you guys have a good one. Love y'all. Later.